Yo, what's up, guys? Great win tonight for the Toronto Raptors. Absolutely thrashing the Dallas Mavericks tonight, defeating them 122-92, guys. Great win for the Raptors tonight, guys. A much needed win tonight for the Toronto Raptors. Obviously going a little bit of a bump in the road, obviously losing 4 of their last 5 games. Not playing some good basketball. Obviously, we know where the issues lie regarding this Toronto Raptors team, guys, against top 10 teams in the NBA, of course. But we obviously know that the Raptors get their business done against below 500 teams, and they did their job tonight against the Dallas Mavericks, again, with a very impressive performance tonight by the Raptors. Now, not everything was pretty, of course, in this ball game tonight. The Raptors in the first half, didn't shoot the basketball very well in the first half, of course, guys. They only shot 14% from 3, 2 for 14, 4 for 19, guys, from 3, 24 for 50. Dallas was the one who shot 2 for 14 from three-point line, guys, but 21% from the field is not the best on three-point line. 48% from the field is great because the Raptors were able to dominate down low in the post and in the paint there. The Raptors were spectacular in the paint there in the first half, guys. 34 points in the paint alone. The Raptors did a great job defensively as well. We obviously know the MO of this Raptors team this year is play tight defense, and push the ball in the fast break. And we saw that tonight against the Mavericks. We obviously know the Mavericks are a rebuilding team, a young team, obviously, with a guy like Cooper Flag building around. And the Raptors took advantage of that tonight. Obviously, Dallas has some injured players. Of course, Kyrie Irving's not playing this year, of course. So Dallas is going through a little bit of a rough patch, of course. And Raptors took full advantage with Dallas. Turned the ball over a lot. Do the Raptors great defense, turning the ball over 11 times, guys. Raptors had 18 assists in the first half on 24 field goals. So the Raptors doing a great job facilitating the basketball. Of course, we had 13 points off turnovers, so that was something else to see. The only thing that pissed me off was Dallas had 12 second chance opportunities in the first half compared to our 5. That was really the only thing that kind of annoyed me in the first half, guys. But RJ Barrett continues to play great basketball in his last 4 games, averaging over 20 points a game. He had 16 at the half, guys, shooting 7 of 10 from the field. Clearly the best player for the Raptors in this game. Brandon Ingram only had 2 points, dealing with the stomach bug, so obviously we knew that he wasn't going to be his best. And I didn't play horrible tonight, so thought Brandon Ingram did some good things. He only had 2 points at the half, had a quiet game in general, but him being sick, obviously, them playing Dallas, Brandon Ingram wasn't really needed today. Scotty did a good job having 9 points as well. You had Grady Dick, who had 7 points, 3 of 3 from the field, but had 3 fouls in the first quarter. That was one weird quarter for Grady Dick, though. But love to see Grady Dick drive the lane, get down low there. Obviously the fouls, that's the type of stuff that we don't want to see Grady Dick doing, of course, because we know Grady Dick has obviously had a rough year, of course, with the shooting and his defense, of course, at times, and we saw that again today. But listen, I really like Grady. I think he just needs to get his head on straight, start shooting the basketball more with a little bit of confidence, drive the lane like he did a couple times today, and then maybe he'll start to shoot the ball better. But, really solid game, for the Raptors in general. Grady Dick, obviously, getting some more minutes today, contributing a little bit more, playing his first quarter in almost a month. So really shows how madly he's struggling, but got some good points in the first half. Even though, like I said, had those 3 stupid fouls, of course, to say the least, guys. But then you had Mamu, who only had 5. Jacoby had 7, so I thought Jacoby was doing a solid job. Quickly only had 5. Yak only had 6. So, like I said, RJ Barrett was carrying majority of the workload for the Raptors. And then you had Gafford, who was a real pain on the Raptors side there with 13 points in the first half. He had also 6 rebounds on top of that, 6 of 6 from the field. So Gafford was the guy really doing the damage, obviously getting the second chance opportunities a lot against the Raptors in that first half, guys. But listen, Raptors did a great job, in the second half, really tight defensively, moving the basketball well. They had, I think it was 12 field goals 12 assists on 13 field goals in that third quarter. So I thought the Raptors did a great job, again, facilitating the basketball, moving it around. Dallas had cut it down to 11 points. So Coach Darko calls a timeout, really gives it to them. Then the Raptors come out and go on a 10-0 run like that, really to extend the lead back up to 20 points. Loved what I saw there. And then I love RJ Barrett making a 3-pointer. Coach Darko goes to shake his hand with a smile and then tells him, oh, what about the defense, right? So love to see that stuff. Great job. RJ makes a couple shots. But the most important thing is obviously doing the right things on defense, because defense, as we know as Raptor fans, wins championships. Defense is a very important thing for this Raptors team. Obviously one of the MOs of this team, like I mentioned, of course, that we've seen all through this season, of course. But RJ Barrett, again, just carrying the way for the Raptors. After the Raptors called that timeout, went on that 10-0 run, Dallas had no chance of coming back in this game. The game was basically curtains, guys. Raptors did a great job after just extending the lead, not giving Dallas much. Sure, Dallas had a couple of opportunities again, but nothing really to threaten the Raptors in this game. We saw some guys get some garbage minutes, of course, but the fourth quarter was basically a write-off in this game, guys. RJ Barrett, what a game from him, guys. 31.6 rebounds on 13 of 19 shooting in only 33 minutes, guys. What an efficient game by RJ Barrett, guys. In his last 4 games, averaging 20 points plus a game, shooting 60+% from the field, 50% from 3, and adding 5 rebounds. RJ Barrett's starting to look like the player he was at the beginning of the season, guys, and he could have started getting back to himself at the most perfect time. The Raptors really need him right now. Obviously with teams like Orlando and Miami right up their ass. You got Atlanta and Charlotte who are playing some great ball as well. So you want to stay in that top 5 seed. Of course, you don't want to get anywhere near a play-in. Obviously the Raptors have had their struggles against top 5 teams in the NBA. There's top 10 teams in the NBA. Obviously the Raptors had their struggles at home this year. Only one game over 500 at 17-19 this year. But like I said, Raptors do their job and do their business against these under 500 teams like they did tonight against Dallas. RJ's playing some great ball as of late. Was the best player against Minnesota the other night as well, being the leading scorer as well, guys. So RJ's playing some great ball as of late. Looks like he's healthy again after dealing with those bloody knee and ankle injuries, of course, near the season, of course, near the beginning of the season. So great to see RJ getting back to the player that we know he is, driving the lane, making his 3-pointers, drawing N1s. It's really good to see RJ back the way he is. If he can stay healthy like this for the rest of the season, he's going to be very vital for the Raptors down the stretch. Now, obviously, we want his defense to improve a little bit, but other than that, he's played some great ball as of late. Now, Scotty had 17, 4, and 5. B.I., like I mentioned, was a bit under the weather, finishing off with 11, 6, and 6. Not a horrendous game. Jakob finishes off with a double-double with 16 and 10 on 8 of 9 shooting, so really solid second half for Jakob. Poeltl quickly had a quiet game, 10 points, 2 rebounds. Guys, no assists today, 8 assists for Quickly. I saw 0 for a second instead of an 8. 4 for 14. From the field, guys, not the best, obviously, efficiency-wise, but we didn't need Quickly to do anything amazing today. Jacoby had 11, 3 and 4 on 4 of 11 shooting. Obviously, want Jacoby to do a little bit better with the efficiency, but 11 points off the bench for Jacoby, solid. Mamu had 13 and 7 on 5 of 9. Solid job by Mamu. Grady finishes off with 10 points on 4 of 8 shooting, so not the worst game for Grady. Obviously, the fouls want to reduce that a little bit, of course, but other than that, he wasn't as bad as he's been in the past, guys. Jamal had 0 points. Jamal Shed had 0. Jameson Battle, nothing. Garrett Temple actually had 3 points, surprisingly enough, guys. But listen, at the end of the day, guys, Dallas, the Mavericks, I feel sorry for the Mavericks and their fans. I really do. Just seeing how bad they are right now. Obviously they got Cooper flagged, but to lose a guy like Luka Doncic last year, to see that jackass Nico Harrison get fired after that trade he makes, to see how bad the Mavericks are right now, I feel for you Mavericks fans. I really do. It's got to kill you to see Luka Doncic playing for the Lakers. I know you guys are probably happy with Cooper Flag, and I know he's a young player. He's got a lot to learn still. He has to develop, but I can't imagine what it's like seeing a guy like Luka Doncic in his prime playing for the Lakers when he wanted to be a Maverick his whole career. It's just, I feel for the Mavericks fans that they're going through this rebuilding phase now. It would be very difficult to be a fan of that basketball team knowing what that asshole Nico Harrison did. It really must be frustrating. So I feel for you Mavericks fans. Gafford finishes off with 21 and 11. He was the best player tonight. Flag finishes off with 17, 8, and 6. Cooper's obviously a young player. Wish the Raptors would have tanked a little bit better at the end of the season. Maybe we could have had a lucky chance of getting him, but the way the draft looked this year, it looked like Dallas was destined to get Cooper Flag this year, guys. Williams had 16 off the bench. Those were the 3 guys in double figures in this game. The rest of the Mavericks players were in single figures in this game, guys. Didn't do very much. Raptors finishes off the game with 50% shooting-wise. Really solid game. 48 for 95 from the field. 28% from 3. Don't even get me started on that stuff. Really annoying to say the least, guys. 73% from free throws. Very annoying. Obviously, like I said in past videos, I want to see that 85 to 90% every time. Dallas did out-rebound us a little bit. 13 offensive rebounds for the Mavericks. That stuff obviously did annoy me. 39 assists. Great to see on 48 field goals made, guys. Fantastic by the Raptors. 11 steals. Great defense by the Raptors. 64 points in the paint compared to Dallas's 52. got most of our points in the paint tonight, guys, especially in the first half. That was a big reason why the Raptors won this game. 15 second chance points compared to Dallas's 27. So Dallas did a really good job getting second chance opportunities. But other than that, that was really it. We had 21 fast break points compared to their 4. Great job on defense, and then 24 points off turnovers compared to Dallas's 10, guys. So this was a great defensive effort tonight by the Raptors. Offense obviously improved in the second half. You held Dallas to 15 points in one bloody quarter in the second quarter, even though we had 21. Great job defensively for the Raptors. Dallas didn't get 30 points in one quarter in this game today. So solid job by the Raptors all around. You got to play Houston in a couple days, and you got New Orleans on a back-to-back as well, guys. So a couple tough games. You got to play the Rockets. They're not an easy matchup, of course. You got Kevin Durant. Obviously, Freddie VanVleet is not playing there this year due to a torn ACL, but that's going to be a tough game in Houston, like Gorilla likes to say. So we'll see how that game goes in Houston, guys. Then we'll see how they do against the Pelicans, but solid win for the Raptors. They got to get wins, man. Like I said, Orlando, Miami, game behind them both, So the Raptors got to start getting some wins against top 10 teams in the NBA. Get wins at home. Continue to get wins in general. And see if you can lock up a top 5 spot in the East. It doesn't look like they're going to get a top 4 because Cleveland's playing some really good ball as of late now since the acquisition of James Harden, to say the least. So we'll see how the Raptors do in this final stretch of the season. Good win tonight for them. We'll see how they do against Houston, guys. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this game tonight, guys. So click like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Raptors, go as always, guys. See you guys on the next episode of Raptors Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.